We all kind of assume that our entire experience of the world, everything you see, feel, and think, is happening right here, locked inside your brain. It just seems like common sense, right? It's all about neurons and electrical impulses.
But what if that's not the whole story? What if consciousness, in some way we're only just starting to figure out, isn't totally confined to our heads? And look, this isn't some kind of fantasy movie plot. This is a real scientific mystery that's starting to poke holes in what we thought we knew for sure.
So to really get why that question is so huge, we first have to understand the established science. Let's start with that traditional view, the idea that a reality is built, piece by piece, right inside our own minds.
What's really key here is that nothing you experience, not the color of the sky, not the sound of my voice, is a direct pipeline to the world. Nope. It's the end result of your brain taking in a storm of electrical signals and building a world from them. It's a reconstruction.
But honestly, it gets even weirder than that. Your brain isn't just sitting back and passively receiving information. It's an active player. It's constantly out there making bets, guessing what's going to happen next. There's a whole concept for this called predictive processing.
Yeah, it's called the predictive processing framework. And what it means is your brain is basically running a simulation of the world, and it only uses your senses to check its work and make corrections. So the big takeaway is, you're not really experiencing reality. You're experiencing your brain's best guess of reality.
And this quote just nails it. The neuroscientist Anil Seth calls our reality a controlled hallucination. I mean, think about that. It's a simulation that's just good enough for us to function. Now, hold on to that idea, that reality is a construct, because it's absolutely crucial for what's coming next.
So, if we're all just walking around inside our own personal, controlled hallucinations, that must mean we're completely isolated from each other, right? Well, maybe not. Some amazing new tech is showing us a level of connection between our brains that we literally could not see until now. This is just incredible. Scientists are using something called hyperscanning, where they can watch two brains in real time. And what they're finding is that when two people are really connecting, deep in a conversation, making eye contact, their brain waves actually start to synchronize. Their neural patterns start to mirror each other. It's real, measurable proof that two separate nervous systems can start acting like one single system.
So let's just connect the dots here. 1. We know our conscious experience is created by our brain activity. 2. We now know that this brain activity can literally sync up with another person's brain activity. So, 3. This physical synchronization actually changes how we feel. It's the biological reason you can feel on the same wavelength with someone. It's a real thing.
Okay, so with that foundation in place, we're ready to step out onto the edge, into some more controversial territory. We're going to look at some theories that are pushing the boundaries, but it's really important that we separate what's a proven fact from what's a speculative idea. All right, take quantum biology. It is a 100% proven fact that some biological processes, like how a plant uses sunlight or how a bird navigates the globe, actually use quantum mechanics. That's mind-blowing on its own. Now the speculative part, and we have to be super clear, the evidence here is very weak and debated, is the idea that maybe consciousness does too. It's an open question, definitely not a conclusion.
But here's something much more solid. Mirror neurons. These are fascinating. They're brain cells that fire both when you do something and when you see someone else do that same thing. So, in a very real way, your brain is constantly simulating the experiences of other people. It suggests that empathy isn't just some vague feeling, it's an actual biological simulation running inside your head. So, let's take stock. We've got brains that are basically prediction machines. We've got brains that can physically synchronize with each other. And we've got brains that simulate what other people are doing and feeling. What is all of this pointing to? Well, maybe it means we need to totally rethink what consciousness even is. What if consciousness isn't a thing? Not an isolated spark glowing inside your skull. What if it's more of a process, something relational that happens in the space between us just as much as it happens within us? I mean, just think about it. From the moment you were born, your nervous system was literally shaped by your connection to other people. Your whole sense of you was formed by interacting with others. Even that little voice inside your head is speaking a language you learned from your community. We aren't isolated islands, we're fundamentally interconnected. And all of this leads us to this one really profound and honestly kind of unsettling question about where the boundaries of you even are. If we're all this intertwined, where do you actually draw the line? So really think about this. If your brain activity can physically line up with someone else's, and your mood can measurably change their heart rate, where does you stop and they start? Suddenly, that boundary seems a lot less like a solid wall and more like a blurry, shifting line.
So after all this, is consciousness really as confined as we've always thought? Is it completely locked away?
Or is it fundamentally relational, something that emerges from the connections we make?
And that leaves us with the biggest question of all, the one to really sit with. Where exactly does your consciousness end? The answer might not be nearly as simple as you think.
Thank you for watching. If this opened your mind even a little, hit like, tell me what you think in the comments, and subscribe if you haven't. There's a lot more to decode.